listening to the Fit Mind, Fit Body podcast, where we explore the connection between a fit body and positive mental health. And our big mission? It's to help 10,000 runners to develop fitter minds in the next 2 years. I'm your host, Michelle Frost. Let's get moving. Welcome to episode number 34 of the Fit Mind, Fit Body podcast. In today's episode, we talk to Kim Bugg, and she shares how running has given her that much needed me time that's really hard to find in a busy family life. Enjoy. Today on Fit Mind, Fit Body, I am very excited to have my friend, Kim, a good friend of mine. I met Kim maybe a couple of years ago now. She's moved to Tasmania. She's actually in my office rather than being on Zoom. So that's really nice. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Michelle. And yes, I'm very happy to do this because it's my first time ever interview on any of the sport.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
And you're not nervous, are you?
No, a little bit. Okay.
That's right. This is just like a chat, and we're just going to get to know you a little bit.
Yes.
And find out a bit about your running journey as well. So how about you start by telling us where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Vietnam, and where I grew up, we basically I never grew up with sport. We never have an exercise at school.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So they don't. It's not like part of the school curriculum. You know how here we
don't have that because the school is very small. We don't have any outdoor space. So basically, we go downstairs of the where we assembly and everybody line up, and we probably just maybe do a bit of jumping around, put our hand up and down with the whole school once a week. That's our exercise.
That's amazing.
So I never know any sport in my life until I met my husband about 14 years ago.
Wow. So just going back to at your school, were you in like a city sort of environment or a country environment?
I'm in the city environment. So our school is very small. Mm-hmm. We normally share school between morning. We have one school and afternoon we have another school. Oh, wow. And we don't have any grass area. So we don't have a lot of park like you talk about here or playground. We never grow up with it. So even riding bicycle for us is just for privilege. Wow. For people got money,
really,
they can afford a bike.
Because you don't think of that like from afar. You often, you see lots of Asian countries where bikes are quite a thing, but you don't think of it being, something that is a privileged thing, like you just said.
Yes, that's more like in country when the poor you ride bike everywhere, but in the city we normally ride scooter.
Oh, of course.
So bicycle is for children, is for like someone's got money, access money to buy bicycle for the children. So I remember when my sister got to university and she got her first bike as a present, and I just dreamed, I thought, I wish one day I had the bike. Wow. But I couldn't ride a bike.
You couldn't ride a bike? So
no.
I know you can ride a bike now. So.
I know, yes, I can now. My first time was when my husband taught me and I fell over.
Wow. I hope he taught you somewhere where it was not too hard to fall, where you landed on grass or something.
Yeah, that was in Queensland when I was 30 years old. That's when I learned to ride bike.
That's amazing. So what city in Vietnam did you grow up?
I grew up in Hanoi.
Yeah.
Yes, and I came to Australia in 1994.
So why did you come to Australia?
As an overseas student, after American lifted the sanction with Vietnam. So fortunately I finished my high school that year, and we allow the communist government allow people to go to Western country. So for me, Australia is like a, you see in the movie,
Yeah.
like you see this
All these beaches and sunshine.
like you see in the moon, like it's a dream, and like, wow,
Wow.
Australia, you can see airplane. So I applied to come here to study English.
Yeah.
For 6 months. So here I am in Australia.
So you came to Australia to study English, and you must have been, I guess, late teens?
Yes,
Yeah.
18 when I was 18 years
Oh, wow.
old. Yes.
And you stayed for 6 months, or did you?
I couldn't, when I came to study English first, I realized that 6 months not gonna enough for me to learn English, because I didn't know any
so you
English
didn't know
before.
any before?
Not at all.
Okay.
I learned Russia at school.
Oh, whoops.
Because communist.
Of course.
And then my mom paid for me boarding school, not boarding, but at the someone stay at the, like a room accommodation for 6 months, and a one-way ticket. So after 6 months, I realized, wow, I need money and I need accommodation, and I got no money to go home. So I have to find my way and get job and extend visa to stay, and eventually, I put myself together.
And you managed to learn like enough English to be able to work.
First I didn't learn it. I used to be a kitchen hand, washing. And then when I know enough English, my first job was pouring hot water into the teapot at the Yum Cha Chinese restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Because my English wasn't good enough for anything else. Apart from people tell me to put hot water in the teapot.
Wow.
And then when finally my English good enough, I started become a waitress.
Yeah.
And work in the front.
So which city were you in?
In Brisbane.
In Brisbane?
Yes. And then after that, I just tried to study at the college, and then work at night time, or during the night to early in the morning, to cleaning or do anything that doesn't require English. Yeah. And then slowly I work my way up, and so
and you learn we learn English just by being here, plus what you were learning at school as well.
At school. And then I went to university, of course, and I applied to stay. Because I was young, so I applied to stay, and I got permanent. Very lucky enough to stay here, and
What did you study at uni?
I studied first. My degree was business management. And then after that, I did the international business and marketing. Yeah. Oh, wow. And so after during the study, I sort of realized that the job only because my family was not very well off, and I needed help. Need help from my family in Vietnam as well, typical migrants. So I tried to looking for a sort of business to run a business. So I remember when I first tried to buy a takeaway, just any business to borrow money from the bank. They said, no, I can't borrow money from the bank because I don't have any credit, don't have any income or any asset or anything. But I can borrow money to buy a car.
What?
I can't borrow money to buy a business, but I can borrow money
to buy a car. Which makes money, by the way, hopefully.
But so I said, okay, I will borrow money to buy a car. But I bought my first business for 50,000. Wow. And I have to use my credit card to pay for all the stock.
Wow.
And
what kind of business was it?
It was like a takeaway carry in a shopping center. Yeah. So it was really hard work, but it's pay off. And used to work 7 days a week for about 8 years. Wow. And
so just cooking curries and
actually I didn't know any of the Western food or Italian. So I bought this place. This business is from an Italian couple. And a Vietnamese person like me, I didn't grow up with cheese. I can't tell the difference between flour or pizza or bread. I can't tell any difference. Anyway, so I learned everything from scratch when I bought the business. I was lucky enough that they taught me and I teach myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we cook lasagna and roast pork and roast meal and sandwiches, and none of the Vietnamese food.
What?
How about that?
So you bought a business that from Italian people, and then cooked lots of Italian food. So we had a Vietnamese person who I happen to know cooks really good Vietnamese food, cooking Italian food.
Yes.
Wow.
Like what do you have here, like roast meal or sandwiches or lasagna or spaghetti and all that sort of thing. And so I've learned all that through the business.
Oh wow.
And
so how long did you have that business for?
I had it for about 9 years. And then after
you sold it, did you?
When I met my husband, he's and I'm pregnant with our first son. By then I was 33.
So you had the business at the time when you met Steve? I
had business before I met Steve, and at the time I met.
So Steve. you dished him up lasagna or something? That's how you met?
No, actually, wasn't. I met him at a coffee shop by accidentally. I was waiting for my friend. He waited for his, and anyway. So, we met, and I wanted I had my business, but I wanted to apply for a job for the government, for Queensland government. Okay. But I want someone to look at my resume. So through conversation and just sitting there, and he said, I can help you look at your resume. And then so he gave me his email address is government.gov. So I said, he worked for the government, so I think I can trust him. So actually he told me what expected at the interview, and then I got the job at the Queensland government while I had my business.
Wow.
And then, so that's how we met.
So he was very good at looking at your resume.
Then. He used to work for the Commonwealth, and his job is recruiting people. So he sort of told me, if this is the criteria they expected, then this is likely the question that they're going to ask me. Yeah. And I had to come up with expected the answer, which is exactly what happened at the interview. That's and great. I got the job. So I was very pleased.
So for a while then, did you have a job, a government job and a business?
Yes.
So how did you manage that?
I had a manager that ran the business by then, because by then I wanted to looking for something else, because my family work for the government. My mom and dad used to work for the Vietnamese government, so I only wanted to work for the government. I thought that's the most secure job.
The best.
Yes. Yeah. And but then after about 6 months, I thought this is not what I wanted, because just sitting in the office, doing paperwork a lot.
Not as exciting as 9 years or whatever of being your own boss, and even though that's hard work, you do it under your own steam, and you decide what you do.
And also when I'm very talkative, and I'm very person. So I like to meet people. I like to talk to people. And so, office, it's just not for me. So I end up quit the job and keeping the business.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And so eventually you did sell the business, but when you were pregnant with Peter?
Yes, because I was really sick. And so my husband, Stephen's not going to run the business, because he's come from different backgrounds. So we thought, just move on. Yeah. And at the start, when I sold it, I really sad, because that was my baby, the business, and I really sad. But now I look back, I thought that the best thing that ever happened to me after come to Australia, that's the second best thing, is I sold the business. Because it's like a give me a freedom. And I found a lot of new interesting and happy thing in life now from the free time I didn't have to consume in my business.
Well, that's interesting. So tell me, when did you start running? So Stephen, you said that he introduced you to running. I sort of know
sport. So basically, when we after we had 2 children, we decided to move to Vietnam, where I come from.
Why did you decide to do that?
We just thought, first we just want to because we quit our job, he quit his job, and we thought, oh, we want to spend 6 months in Vietnam, so he knows my culture. So after 6 months, we thought, oh, it's so good. We stay for another year.
Wow.
And then one thing after the other, we just keep extending it. And then, but by the time we there for about 18 months, we decided, oh wow, we're gonna have to get some income in Vietnam, so we don't have to bring money from Australia over. So we decided to start a business in Vietnam.
Of course.
So that's why we have to move permanent to Vietnam after my second child was 6 weeks old. In 2011, we have to move there permanent to build like a apartment complex in the central coast of Vietnam. It's near Hoi An,
in Da Nang.
In Da Nang. So then because of everything moving with having two young children, for me after 15 years of moving away from Vietnam and went back, it's given me a culture shock actually. Really? Because people look at me differently. Because
you were like a half West, or they weren't sure how to fit.
Yes, and also I'm married to a foreigner. There's a lot of perception about Vietnamese married to a foreigner and all that. But anyway, so I was in a little bit of depression. Because of a lot of I struggled to settle back.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be hard.
So I thought, oh well, I start just because we live on the central coast of Vietnam, so it's beautiful beach.
I've been there.
And
it is gorgeous.
Beautiful weather, and I thought, oh wow, every morning I'm gonna just wake up because at 5 a.m. It's a lot of people out at the beach exercise. And I never such exercise in my life.
Whoa!
Up till then.
So how old were you then? When
35.
Malia
was born when my second daughter, my daughter was born, was 35. And I thought I'd go for a walk every morning. Just for a kilometer. And then I remember first time I walked like a kilometer up the road. And I was so proud. And I come back and said, oh, I can't believe it. I walked the whole kilometer today. Because in Vietnam, as I grew up, we don't walk anywhere. We ride scooter everywhere.
And a lot of that's cultural too. Like, I mean, that's what you're saying, isn't it? But you ride a scooter because you can, not because like you're walking because you don't have a scooter, or it's a cultural thing, isn't it?
And when I come to Australia, I'm busy, or I was driving from A to B and walk. So I never, exercise. So, and just one thing after the other, and I keep walking every morning. And then each week I walk a little bit further. So at the end, I would sort of be able to walk about half an hour, and then I thought, oh wow, I feel good. Maybe I just go for a run 500 meters to that. I remember the little temple was like from where after half an hour, so we just 2 kilometers. We've been running and walking 2 kilometer return, but I run halfway, and I come back. I said, honey, can you believe this is the first time I run in my life? And I ran all the way to the little temple. It's just only 500 meters running. Wow. That's how I started.
That's amazing. And so did you do it like, was it every day or 3 or 4 times a day?
I meant mainly back then was for my mental health. I just want to wake up and get out of the
apartment,
of the house, of the place that we live in, because I got 2 young kids. I already wake up through the night. I was tired, so every morning I just wake up.
That's awesome.
And even I remember someday it was raining, someday it was storm, and I still get up and I thought, now I just gonna, this is something for myself. I'm gonna walk for like half an hour, and I run 500 meters. I did that for a long time, and until I sort of extend myself. Oh, I'm gonna run to that palm tree next time. See if I can run to that palm tree. And I remember that was like run a kilometer the whole time. So.
That's amazing. So can you remember looking forward to it? Like once you got into that rhythm of it, it's a daily thing, it's something I'm doing for myself. Do you remember that kind of feeling?
Yes, it's something that I keep it as just for me, and I don't want anything that make it not happen.
Yeah.
So that's something, because after marriage, everything you combine with you consume your life with husband and children and all that. Very hard to find some time just for yourself. So I find that the only time I can do something without my children and my husband and my mom. My mom used to live with me with us in Vietnam too, so even more crazy. So that was but it's really I just looking forward to every morning, wake up at 5 a.m. and go and look at the sunrise and be able to just to walk and run for a kilometer or exercise.
So can you remember, like, if then I assume there was a day or two where you couldn't go. So the difference between the days that you went and when you couldn't go, how the day felt. So was it a much better day, obviously, I assume, on the days that you could go?
Yes, definitely. Like I remember when we had to travel with the kids and I couldn't do that routine of exercise. And I feel really something like angry all the time, or upset, bothering me the whole time, the whole day, or sometimes it's a week, because we travel for a week. And back then I couldn't work out what it was. But then slowly when I returned back to Da Nang and returned back to my routine of walking in the morning, I thought, oh, that's it. If I can get my routine of exercise every morning and the time for myself just to get out and do a little bit of exercise, I feel really not myself for the day. And that's something I thought, oh wow, I'm going to keep doing it now.
So we know, and then skipping forward a little bit, I know you as someone, I know right now you're training for a marathon. So obviously you started running a little longer than 1 kilometer at some point.
Yes.
What happened there?
What happened was there's a few marathon in Vietnam, of course. So I thought, because I run further each week, I like to the point I able to run 10 kilometers, very slow. It would take me like an hour and a half to run 10 kilometers. But then I thought, oh, I'm going to enter to a first half marathon ever in my life. That's 2015, I think.
That wasn't that long ago at all.
No. So that's the first time I ever entered any race. So I thought, oh, I give it a go. That took me 3 hours to run 21 kilometers.
That's still amazing.
But I was really proud. And after that, we already think, oh, after you've done one, you think, oh, you don't want to do it anymore. But it's something, it just gives me at the finish line that give me the motivation, the feeling that I want to do this again because I feel good. So I enter another half marathon and then it become a first marathon. And so now I really enjoy running. Is a part of my life now.
It's a part of what you do. And luckily, has Stephen always been a runner as well? Or?
He has always been a runner. I remember my first time I ever came to his house to meet him when we was dating. He asked me to come over, and he said he just come back from running 21K on the treadmill. I think, oh, this guy crazy. I don't know what I'm into.
What's he doing? I can never get into that.
Yes. For me, I can't even walk a kilometer, let alone running 21 kilometers.
So what's it been like to have this hobby that you now have, which is a part of your life, and also have your husband here has the same hobby? Is it a good thing or a bad thing, or
running now give me what is very hard to describe, but it's give me a lot of positive thing in life that throughout the last 5 years, 6 years since I started. And I just find every year the running give me more and more of how I look at life and positive things in life. And that's why it's become part of my, I enjoy it. It's for my mental health, but also because my body wanted, and
good for your physical
good for
health.
physical health as well as mental health. And for my husband, I'm very lucky, very fortunate that my husband also a runner. He's I never listened to him, of course, only advice on running.
Of course not. Why would you?
Only when it come to this, it didn't work out well, then I blame him. But we encourage each other, and because we run, both are runners, so we understand how each other's feeling. So when he gets frustrated because he has too busy with work and not exercise, not running enough, I try to make time at home for him free enough so he can go for a run, and vice versa. He does that for me. He know I come back from a long run and I'm very tired. He will make sure I have lunch or anything before. So it's sort of partnership of supporting each other for our mental health, for our physical, but also for the good of relationship.
I love that.
And I find it's it's like it's really work well. You got someone that's supporting and find the same similar interests. We don't have much in common interests. We're married, but apart from running now, we got something to talk about.
You have 2 children
and 2 children, but we don't. He like one thing, I like the other, and he doesn't like talking. I can't stop talking.
Isn't that funny? Well, they do say opposites attract a bit. I think my husband and I are a bit like that too. So that's okay. So, I mean, obviously we're not sitting talking to each other in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So you guys decided to come back to Australia.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, due to COVID, of course. We only plan to come back eventually to Australia for our children's education, but it's keep extended. Yeah. And then when COVID hit in March 2019, we thought, oh wow, we have to go back. When
2020? I think it was
2019 when they call. Oh, 20?
It was 2000. It was only last year, wasn't it?
No, year before.
Like March last year.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like it.
I know.
So anyway, so
first, like we've always lived with COVID.
First time when the government calling anyone Australian want to come home now. So we didn't even have time to pack our bag. Within 20 hours, we packed 10 years of our life in 4 suitcases.
Wow.
And we heading to the airport. And while we're at the airport, I ring my landlord and said, sorry, I have to give up the house, the lease.
Wow.
Because we left.
We're not here.
We're not here. We're not in Vietnam anymore. But so come back to Tasmania. And this is another level of interest for me in running. For me, while I run in Vietnam, because Vietnam, we're still not very good with sport, and running still very new. And for me, to running around street of Vietnam, people often tell me it's crazy. My mom even tell me that I'm too dark, too skinny, and I'm not good because I'm keep running. Yeah. But when I come back here, surrounded, we joined No Session Running Club. We found
that's how we met.
Yes, and we just people got so much positive about running, about sport, and just the community, the clubs become like a now it's a part of our life, sort of really keep us here in a way, because it's like a family.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Because it was really hard for us never live in Australia and first come back, and now we have all people that we feel like we part of the club, part of the place, part of the
community thing,
community. So and I never thought I'd be able to run fast until I come back to Tasmania and through the clubs.
You're running fast.
Yes, with the people competitive next to me and encourage me, and I just look forward to the run with the club every Saturday a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, to see people and to talk to people.
Isn't that lovely?
Yes.
So you guys come, because this is Tasmania was where Stephen originated from. That's why you chose Tasmania, or his partly, or part of his home base is here.
Not really. We briefly moved back to Tasmania before we moved to Vietnam permanently. But then back then I wasn't. It's just not for me back then, Tasmania. So when COVID hit, we thought we'd come back to Tasmania mainly just because we got free accommodation from the parents for the quarantine, and then we will move to Queensland. That's where we met and have our life there.
Yeah.
And then the border closed.
You're not going anywhere.
So we couldn't go anywhere. But the more we stay, the more we love it here. And I don't think we move anymore. I think we're going to stay. Yes.
That's amazing. Well, I'm happy about that.
It's at least for the next 18 months, we know we're here. But we are very happy. And for me, Tasmania now is very different. I look at different view, different eyes. So I enjoy everything here a lot more. I look at everything's beautiful. But I think also it's because of the sport of the running that I'm in. I enjoy it. So it should give me a positive
vibes
about everything that I look at. We only can find negative if we want to, but for me now, I just really enjoy everything here.
Isn't that awesome? It's like a little advertisement for Tasmania, but especially Tasmania from a runner's perspective.
Yes, it's true, because many morning or sometimes it's cold. Sometimes I get hard to get out and run and windy, and I feel like but then I look at it and say, look at the beautiful scenery outside, and just look at people. And I just want to just switch off and run. And so it's really lovely.
That's awesome. I'm so glad we could be part of that. I know that when you guys first came here, it must have been only within a couple of months. Running club couldn't go ahead in the March or the April until we decided to do the virtual runs. And I can remember you guys signed up straight away, and we're like, these are like completely new people. We don't know these people at all. So, and delivering, we had to deliver running club bits and pieces and caps. And I think one of the kids, maybe Malia, won something. And so there was all that. And then once we were able to open up, you came and started running in person with us. And, you've been doing it ever since. And every photo, for those of you who don't know Kim, every photo we have of Kim is she's smiling and incredibly happy to be, and just incredibly happy to be there. But it makes all of us so happy to be around you. So.
I'm truly happy to be with the clubs, and I think for the clubs as like a community and as a family, and you feel belonging. You feel sense of belonging. Especially for someone like me, I don't have family here, and everywhere I go, I always try to connect to people, and all good to surround with the positive, like-minded people, and it's give me a positive.
That's awesome.
Vibe in life.
Because for many of us, I've only had a tiny taste of it from my traveling and going away for a little bit, but for you, you've gone from Vietnam to Australia, so that would have been a culture shock. Then from Australia back to Vietnam, and you said that was a culture shock. And then back here to Australia, to Tasmania, which I'm sure was another culture shock. You've done it quite a few times in your life, which is like, and I know, and we use that word culture shock, but it's not until you have experienced it a little bit yourself that you realise just what an effect it can have on you. So I'm so glad that running is in your life now, and you can use that as a way to deal with those feelings, because they're not necessarily welcome feelings sometimes.
Exactly. I do have a moment here, like many moments of, there's a couple of weeks when my husband decided that he finished with work and he'd stay at home, and I thought, oh wow, this guy, and I get really angry and get frustrated, and I thought, no, I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna go for a run, and through even just slow run, and I will find my peace, and I think towards something positive. And you're right. It's very difficult. We do find a difficult moment, but it's something that you can. Running for me is like something I can keep for myself. And that's something that I can. It's a tool for me to find that all this chaotic of moving from one place to the other, and all this issue of culture shock of moving and all that, I still have my own pace through running.
It's like you're just in a moment.
Yes, in a zone. Sometimes that's why sometimes I tell my husband, oh, today I'm daydream when I'm running. I just keep running, but then I look, I run too fast. I better run. So I better slow down a bit because I'm just daydreaming. Thinking about things, and it's lovely feeling. So once you're into that sort of rhythm of it, it's just beautiful.
One of the questions I often ask is, what kind of things are you thinking about when you're running? So you don't have to tell us specifically, but what kind of things do you think?
Sometimes I think about the issues that we need to work on in life, like at household, as a typical any household, about the children. But most time I quite thinking positive. I look at the bird, I look at the street, I look at the cars. So
you're being right where you are at that moment and taking in everything that's
scenery,
around you, the environment.
But not very often I think about the problem. I think it's just a way for me not to switch off, to switch off to something else that take my mind away from the problem. But once you come home, it's sort of clear and you feel in a better mood, and it's the problem easy to solve by then, because you're in a better mood to solve it, in a better clear mind to solve it.
I think so. That's actually scientific proof of what happens in our brain when we're running. It actually builds new neural pathways and things, so we're literally smarter. So you can definitely solve the problem.
We will get smarter.
So you're actually getting smarter because you're building your brain when you're running, which is so cool.
But I know that I'm happier, a lot happier now through running. I couldn't live in Vietnam for 10 years if it wasn't for running.
Wow.
For the last 4 years was really difficult because of I'm still Vietnamese. People look at me as a Vietnamese. The government, the regular, everything still, but then I'm not.
There's still not a place for you in the community, is not
expect me as behave a certain way, and I didn't behave that way, and then I'm not part of them.
So it's like, where do you belong? And so there's all these issues in your head, which are very hard to verbalize, but running obviously helped to work that out for you.
It sort of plays, I when I was in Vietnam, often when I for run, I get a lot of people comment negative things.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's not a natural thing for a woman in Asia to run.
Wow.
But in Vietnam, but then I thought, well, doesn't matter. I keep doing what I want to do, and I feel good. And I think the younger generation, a lot of them, I live along the beach there. There's a small community of running, but they're all younger, like they're in the 18 and 20. And they start follow me, and they start saying, oh, I saw you running on such. So I thought, oh, wow, if they want to follow me, that's fine. I'm not a good runner. I'm like amateur, but if you want to come,
so
come
maybe
along.
the new generations coming up maybe will not be quite the same as the older ones that you maybe had some trouble with.
So the younger generation, you call generation Y, X and Y, they quite they've been, of course, have a 20 years of exposed to the Western culture and internet and all that, so they know. But for my generation, for back and for my parents' generation, it's very now. It's for the poor people to do that.
So when do you think you called yourself a runner? I know that you said when you first started you were walking first, and then walking and running, and then probably more running. Do you remember a thing in your head where you said, oh, I am a runner now? Because now I know you that you identify yourself as a runner in your mind.
I never have thought of quite a moment that I think, oh, I'm a runner, but I thought as you as I enter a few races through marathon, and you talk to people after finishing, and they start comment about, oh, I saw you such running, and it's like, oh, you're good runners. So they are actually the people that in that community sometimes, because you will have that small community, you see them at the race or at the running route, and they start commenting, you are a good runner, or you such running, and I thought, oh, okay. Now I can do myself as a runner, but I truly probably don't feel I'm a runner until I'm with long session running clubs.
Oh, that's interesting.
Honestly.
Wow.
Just because I think when we live overseas, it's not that strong things in Asia to push as for a female to go running, because people have a perception of women have to look beautiful, and we don't look beautiful when we run. But
I don't know.
I guess it's depend on
Is
how
that why
they
you're
look.
smiling all the time? Because you look beautiful when you're running.
So
beautiful and happy.
Yes, but I think beautiful is on the inside, isn't it? But anyway, my mom told me once when I come back, I remember for my 35K long run, first time ever, and I came back and I told my mom, I just done 35K, first time ever in my life. She go, you look black, you look ugly, and you're skinny.
No.
And I said, oh, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
But that's just that generation. It's
thing.
still, I think, like in Asia, I still got a few more, maybe 20 years or 10 years for the younger generation to come up, and they're embracing the sport and they enjoy it. But I feel very lucky that I'm here in Australia, and I have a husband that enjoy that sport, and Australia big in sport.
Yeah, apparently.
So so I'm feel very lucky. I have in the right environment that enable me to enjoy it.
So
and to make it.
Interestingly, just thought of this. You have a daughter. So do you feel responsibility for Malia as well to show that as a woman, running, sport or whatever can be part of your life if you wish?
Yes, I feel it for Malaya. I already want her, if you want to do something, I always try to encourage her this running is for your life. There's many sports that certain sport you only can do a certain time. Yeah. But running, I try to tell her that once she's find enjoy in that sport, that right the balance, she will have it for life, and it's something that if she wanted, she can do it forever, and it helped her a lot in other area of her life. In sport in general, but in particular now because I like running. I love running. So I always steer both of my children, especially Malaya, toward running, especially when think of stress at school already at the early age. So she already got some stress and some things. And I said, oh, let's go for a run together with Mum. And let's go for, even I encourage her to just go for a walk first. Yeah. But even at the beginning, she wouldn't go for a run, but through the clubs now, she really enjoy it. She look forward to every week running.
Because she goes running with her new friends. And it becomes the new norm, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which is
because she's for the first 9 years of her life in Vietnam, it's very struggle for us to find sport, even at the international school level, because it's just not a common, not widely available. So we're very lucky that we are here in Australia, and for girls, it's something's very important. I think
it is. I love that how you talk about it being the time and the space for you, and how especially women, and once they get married and have children, finding that time is very challenging. So, you know,
Yes.
identifying running as a time that can be just for you, I think is really important. When you run, do you mostly run by yourself? Or
Yes.
do you run with others?
I'm a loner runner.
You're a loner.
Yes. I try to be a bit more socialized, so maybe once a week, apart from with the club, once a week I will do a socialized runs with my friend Louise. Yes, but I just like to run by myself because I like the quiet. Somehow I find that peace and quiet when I run.
It's funny, isn't it? Because like, you've already identified, and I think probably everyone can tell that you like to have a chat. So, but in the running, like then you put your running shoes on, and now it's time, you know, to be with myself, maybe have a chat with myself, or just to be enjoying the environment or whatever.
Talking to myself, exactly right.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, how long do you think you'll run for in your life?
I hopefully when my body tell me cannot allow me anymore, but I hope I can run until the day I die, I guess. I hope I can run for a long, long time. Running now is not, for me, it's not something that I have to do. Something almost like I feel like it's part of a breakfast or lunch. That's something that is a part of my life. I can't go without it.
Can't imagine not
to do it. So I can't imagine I skip it unless. So I have a lot of injury. I will go to have injury, and sometimes it just playing on mind and can't do it anymore. But we just got to work through that.
So how do you deal? Because I know that you've already had, or I know at least of one, two injuries that you've had. How do you deal with it then at those times? Because it's quite challenging, I think, for those of us who feel like running is just a part of us, and then we can't do it for a little while because of an injury. How do you?
Yes, it can be frustrating, but for me, I do other cross training. Trying to find other sport, which is cycling.
That's that thing you only just learned about.
And swimming. My husband also, after we married, my husband couldn't believe a 30-year-old woman couldn't swim. So
no swimming, no cycling until you met Stephen.
Yes, he bought me a swimming lesson as our first wedding anniversary.
So cool. Well, you would have been in Queensland then. You can't live in Queensland and not swim.
No. So now I swim or do cycling, and sometimes I do yoga. That's part of my recovery if I can't run, which happened a few weeks ago. I had to stop for 4 weeks, but I count every day to the day that my
4 whole weeks.
Yes.
So the way you cope with it is by still moving, but just doing other exercises that you can do when you're not.
And because he already enjoys sport, enjoy running, it's easy to find that enjoyment in other training as well. So same with swimming. I just swim up and down legs, and I just switch off and swim. I don't think anymore. I just swim.
And you're happy to do that.
Yes. So, I can't do any other than freestyle. I can't tread water. I can't do back show.
Can you float?
No.
I
can't dive.
You've got to keep moving.
I got to keep moving, because even if I need to get something at the bottom of the pool, I can't dive now. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
No.
Need to practice that maybe.
So, but then, and like anything, if you commit yourself and you put your time and every day little bit, you'll be able to extend yourself. Yes. Which is actually I been working with one of my friend once a week, every Wednesday. And normally she's in her 70. Normally we only walk maybe 7 kilometers. But I thought, now I'm gonna try to push her to walk 10 kilometers.
Awesome.
So yesterday, after a year, I said, okay, today we're gonna do 10. And she's really nervous.
Oh, really?
She go, okay. So we went to the coach, but we didn't do 10. We end up with, instead of 7, we just 8.5, but it's still pretty good. And
there's skills involved in that. Like you went to the coach.
Yes. So I told her next week we will try to do 10. And eventually we can walk together for 21 kilometers. Who knows?
Why not?
Yes.
That's awesome. You. That's fantastic. I'm taking my mum to do the 3 Capes track, which has, I think it's, the first day is only 4 kilometers, maybe the second day is 14, the third day is 20.
Wow.
And the last day is maybe 16 or something like that. I can't really remember. But I probably need to do some training with her.
How old's mom?
74.
Wow.
Yeah, so I need to do
Which is my mom's also 74. And she never exercised in Vietnam. She never exercised in her life. But because when we used to live in Vietnam, she lived with us for 10 years. Lucky my husband. And every day she see me wake up at 3 a.m. to go for a run. Yeah. And then I asked her, she need to wake up early, just go for a walk along the beach. And then I make her to go cycling, go on her bike. Wow. So she got this little Vietnamese woman on the bike with the basket in the front. And I told her first, just go to the market, local market, get something, and then come back. And slowly she just ride everywhere. So one day she fell over in Vietnam, and she was really scared. And then she said, that's it, I never ride again. I said, no, Mom, you've got to keep going, because just a small bump. You got to keep your fitness. It's for your mental health as well. If you keep going, keep walking, keep cycling, you'll be okay.
And she kept going?
So she kept going. So she's still cycling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's stuck in Germany at the moment.
So you said that.
Yeah, so she couldn't ride bike, but she walk everywhere now.
Yeah, she's stuck in Germany with your sister.
Yes.
Because of COVID.
And my sister, same, grew up in Vietnam. She lived in Germany for about 25 years. Of course, every time she come visit me, she see me run. Yeah. And she think, oh, you crazy. It's all this typical of the Asian family. We tell each other crazy. And now she started running in Germany every morning. Really? And because I told her, look, just start off, just run with 15 minutes and walk for 15 minutes and all that. So now every morning before she go to work, she run for half an hour. That's awesome. Yes, so I'm very happy for
your family are going to be here forever. They're getting so fit and healthy.
I don't know about forever, but yes, I'm very glad that my sister now in Germany also running. My mom's walking every morning. I got another sister in Vietnam. Yeah, but she's in lockdown at the moment, so she can't go anywhere. But normally she just walk everywhere. Wow. But it's very unusual for Vietnamese people to walk anyway. What have you done? I make the family into it. That's right. I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's that ricochet effect, isn't it? We don't realize what effect we have sometimes, and these little things can make a real change. It's like is it a butterfly flaps its wings in South America? What effect that has, on the other side of the world? Yeah, just something that I think I didn't think that I have an effect on people, but I think just through every day they see being consistent and committed. And they I think, oh wow, if someone like me, a little Vietnamese person never do sport, can run, now they can run too, so anyone can do it. I think that's awesome. Yeah. So before I ask you the very last question, is there anything about running that you think we haven't talked about that you wanted to share? What do you think? We've covered lots of stuff. Yes. No, not really. I just I don't know. I think we cover most of. We have covered a lot. It's just people special for women. I think you mentioned it. We as from young person, as we grow up, we go through a lot of change in life, to marriage and have children and career and all that. We will find a lot of things we struggle with mental change physically and mentally, and it's easy. I find it very easy, which I did in my 30s, to be just slip into that everyday moving on of the emotion. But if anyone can sort of, as a woman, if we can find that even just the smallest gap in a day or in a week for ourselves, and if we can, whether it start off with just walking or any type of exercise, that will give us a lot of benefit. And we build that as a base and build it up slowly. And I think that will benefit as we get older a lot. Yeah,
we can handle all those things that life throws at us.
Yes, a lot. Yeah, a lot better.
I love that.
Yes.
So you've already had a few opportunities to share this with people, but when people come to you and they say, what would you suggest I start with as a new runner or someone who hasn't run for a long time, what kind of ideas would you give to beginners to get them started?
I think surrounding people with the same interest.
Okay.
It's the interest that you are looking at. So, for example, if a new runner thinking about running, even just thinking about running, if you enroll into a club or surrounding, have a friend that interest in that sort of sport, then each day you encourage each other, easy for you to talk about it and encourage each other and to do it. And each day you just do a little bit. I find a big thing is the most important is don't give too much expectation at the beginning. Because we always try, I always set myself, even now, is I set the target less than the expectation less, then when I achieve more, I feel better for myself.
Okay.
So yeah, even if I start off, I'm gonna run a kilometer today, but I think I can do 2, but I would just set myself 1.
Okay.
Then
so you're definitely going to be able to achieve that, and being able to go a little bit further, you'll feel even better.
Yes. Rather than you set a big target and then you
maybe get disappointed.
Yes, and then that sort of less motivated next time. So
that's a good point.
Even now, coming up, I have injuries coming up on the marathon, so I set my target for the marathon a little bit less than what I think I could be able to do. So I thought, I give that window. Anything I can do more than like less than 4 hours, I'm happy. Anything between 4:15, I'm okay with it. But just enjoy. Basically, as we get older, we can't get faster. But if we can make the most out of it, enjoy it and make the benefit of the mental health.
Yeah, I love that. So how far away is your marathon?
I got 3.5 weeks.
Is that all?
Yes.
Wow. Well, by the time this goes out, you will have run that marathon. So, so that's kind of exciting, isn't it?
There you go.
What are you most worried about with this marathon? When was the last time you did one marathon?
The Rose Marathon last year.
Okay.
In here. So the most worry is I know I can finish it. I just don't know if my injury can handle it, and if I make it worse, I don't want to make it worse and it take too long to recover.
So what will you do? So if you can feel it getting really bad in the marathon, what will you do?
I won't give up. That's one thing, but I just slow down.
Okay.
But I just
still cross the
line. Cross the line. But that's why I expected not going to be any personal record or anything, but but being it is a winner. Yes. So I entered it and I finished it. Doesn't matter what time. I'm happy. That's just awesome. Another marathon tick off.
Yay! Oh, it's also inspiring. It is like your enthusiasm for running. You often find, especially people who haven't been running like all their lives, but sort of started as adults, their enthusiasm is still quite fresh and it's kind of exciting and it's wonderful.
That's one thing also I talked to a lot of runners at the clubs and good runners, and I said I have no expectation. I got no team at the younger age to compare. So because I start running later, so everything for me now is a record.
It's true. So it's all a PB. It's even better.
Because I never have my young, so it doesn't matter how old we are. When we start, it's it's something that's rewarding.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah.
And you can be getting, like, if you're starting in your 60s, every run is a PB.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yes.
All right, Kim, I just want to say a massive thank you for sharing your time with us. It's been awesome. And as I said, inspiring, especially like people who have only been running for, say, 10 years or whatever. They are still full of all of the enthusiasm and joy for the running and remember why they started in the first place and are still doing it. So really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. And I'm very glad that I found running as a part of my life. And even through this interview or through running, if I can inspire one person, one woman to run or girl to run, I'm happy.
Yay!
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that you'll achieve that. In fact, I think you already have.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Mind, Fit Body podcast. I'd love to talk to you about your running journey. So send me a message on Facebook or on the website and let's do it. For a bunch of resources on mindful running that will help you get and stay mentally and physically fit, head over to the website fitmindfitbody.co and I'll see you there. Plus, I'll be back here in your podcast player a few times a week. Hit subscribe now so that you don't miss an episode. And before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a review. It'll help more people to find the podcast and get inspired to start running. I'll see you soon. Bye.